Nice, he's Canadian.
I'm not entirely sure that was Dennis. I'm not gonna lie.
That means he's gonna tell me sorry.
I don't recognize the number.
Actually, he does tell stories.
Sorry.
Dennis was gonna tell us a story about having a hooker tranny tonight.
Can we talk with both Brian and Dennis?
Yeah, Dennis can come on Skype too.
Well, hopefully Dennis will call him, but now Dennis sounded like he had some form of... I think he could beat Crow, though. I think he's one of the people that,
Mr. Midnight, what do you think about the coronavirus attack on African Americans?
How many, has it disproportionately hit the black community in this country?
I don't know. I heard that it's hitting black people around the world disproportionately.
Because I've heard in Africa, in portions of Africa, it's not that bad.
Do you know why it's not that bad?
Because they don't have testing or the ability to report the testing.
Because the black community has B fucking blood fucking in them. And guess which antigen the coronavirus is not fucking necessarily fond of? O and B blood types. And guess what percentage of the African American communities have substantially or predominantly B and O blood types. Therefore, the African American community is more than likely safe on a large scale from the coronavirus. So this is an
really, you know what? I mean, I know that there are certain countries. I don't believe
disease. The Saudis.
No, I don't believe what's coming out of China. I've heard that China had it under control, but I don't believe. I think they got cream. I think they have a lot of.
Yeah,
well, hold on, everyone. Please let Mr. Midnight Movie talk.
Absolutely.
He's up at midnight. This never happens.
Well, I mean, he's Mr. Midnight.
Yeah, I've been up later. But no, I've heard that China has gotten it under control, but now I'm hearing different stories they're lying. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, they're not reporting their numbers.
Yeah, there's a serious amount of people that are saying that the numbers are not being reported appropriately. And
the numbers aren't being reported at all. They literally went to zero when that's not right.
Yeah, there's been 4 or 5 days where they said there's been absolutely no new cases, no new deaths.
And my companies both respectively do work with China for the manufacturing part of it.
Yeah.
And I've been on to China through the WhatsApp, which, by the way, when you communicate with the Chinese people through WhatsApp, they give you a message going, "You are being monitored by the Chinese government. You better watch what you fucking say."
Yeah.
We promise that nothing is going wrong.
And
great state of China
also, just in case they're listening, Tiananmen Square 1989 Hong Kong protest.
And so basically what the Chinese people told us, which is what their government
is shutting it all down.
Us,
Winnie the Pooh.
Is that they're not at full manufacturing levels yet because they're still waiting for people to come in from other province.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that it's not...
Yeah.
They're like, hey, please tell everyone how serious this is. By the way, everything's fine over here. Yeah. Like, they're only allowed to say certain things because they're all monitored.
Yeah. And not only that, but I mean, there's reports from before there was even cases reported in America coming out of China saying that people were just going home to die. Saying, I'd rather be with my family. I'd rather die at home. I'd rather be buried in my family plot out in the provinces rather than be stuck in one of these disgusting hospitals with a guaranteed death wish, and those are 0% reported.
Mr. Midnight Movie, are you still with us?
Yes.
What have you...
Yeah, no, I'm still...
Have you talked to anyone since this whole coronavirus, meaning, I guess, anything that we would normally consider normal political banter protocol or things like that, do you find that people are starting to relax and start accepting each other more and be willing to work with each other more despite political differences? Or do you find that there's like a stunning wider division?
Well, I think the SJWs are going to die hard. A lot of them are narcissists and arrogant, and we haven't hit the pandemic hard enough. Because I'm on Twitter, and there hasn't been, there's been a little bit of change, but not the, I mean, the woke leftists are still the woke leftists. So
All right. So
I mean, there are people there are people that still love Trump, and there are those that hate Trump, and they're never going to see eye to eye.
And that's true. Maybe you're never ever's on both ends, because you have your never Obamers and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
But do you feel like the general populace has kind of more decided to side together through this time, unless it comes down to toilet paper?
Liz, I have witnessed people maybe come together, but I have never witnessed such barbaric, foul, nasty behavior in my life, all on the internet and on television.
Is it bad down in Los Angeles?
You know what? I mean, yeah, it sucks. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's worse than, I think it's worse in LA probably than where you live.
Yeah, because here up in Northern California,
like,
you find that your general it's your general populace against homeless people. That's the biggest war right now. Is that the homeless people who have a mayor? By the way, did you know that the Sacramento homeless population has a mayor? They have a mayor homeless person, and they have security guards,
fuck!
people that look
That's
out.
my fuck. That's his job.
And they organize.
So this is Game of Thrones, and you're talking about the Chief Sparrow.
Pretty much, but in the homeless population. So they've decided to go against the coronavirus.
Well, I mean, who's
Because
for the
apparently we're recognizing
coronavirus?
these people as being a political party now. And
I've
it's actually
heard,
the general
though-
populace against
They're
the homeless people who will go around spreading and coughing and doing everything that they want to do
Yeah.
on a regular basis.
Well, you know what? You know what? Let me just say this. My coworker actually about a homeless person. I was in my local 7-Eleven, and my coworker and I, we kind of passed up and we met each other. And this homeless guy asked the guy for some matches, and he didn't give it to him. And then he just went on my coworker who's black, and he said, "You are traitor to the country." And then he actually called her the N-word.
Wow.
And I was, it's like, so, but one of the things, and Darren brought this up on one of our shows, is that these homeless people, they're not getting their drugs like they used to, because it's much harder. The one thing that's harder to get, if you want some blow or some crack or some meth, it's going to be a lot harder to come by, the illegal drugs.
Political fear gets set aside when it comes to actual survival, human fear. All of a sudden, mentality and the human instinct will recognize a no rules system on the basis of survival. Then go by, and I mean, it's not even on your drug dealers as much as you. It's going to be the same for law enforcement. Everyone's going to go to a state of survival and fear. And so what happens when the system resets itself like that? Of course, there's going to be a shortage, because if you're afraid that the mere air that you're breathing going outside is going to kill you, what do you do then? You try to survive. And the rules don't apply anymore.
Well,
even though the rules technically still apply, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's listening to this, the rules still apply. But, your human instinct now goes from fight to, flight or flight to flight. And now you're flighting a virus, which it's been drilled into your head that you will die when you come into contact with it, or kill someone through vector. And I mean, it's a terrible mentality. But I can't say it's a fake one. But I can say that instead of finding or encouraging solutions throughout the board, everyone's been fear-mongering way more than trying to come to a solution.
Now, Liz, do you see this economy coming back? Do you guys see this economy coming back at all?
Delta Airlines to a junk bond status. Of course I see this coming back. And I see the people who have been smart. I see the people who have been smart through the whole thing recovering as well. I really do.
I mean, the hardest part right now is being able to have any kind of liquid assets. That's the thing where so many people, like, you look at the millennial FIRE movement, the fucking invest and then retire early, right? Those people are losing their fucking asses right now. There's not a report I've been able to find that doesn't say anything contrary to that. People that were making their entire economic progress through this system via Airbnb rentals, owning numerous properties, depending on other people to rent out.
Long term.
No disagreement there whatsoever. The one thing that I have to say is that, if you look at
internet fact.
If you look only from the perspective of an economic value and a capitalistic perspective, they were not doing the wrong thing.
No,
they were doing the thing that the economy was deeming the most valuable because they were making the most returns. All right, that's my opinion.
Right,
I'll make that argument.
But however, you have someone like me who played your middle of the road man.
Yeah,
Who went?
Me
I would
too.
like to make a little bit of money, but not too much, and still not be a piece of fucking shit. So I'll give most of it back.
Yeah.
Without any.
I was investing in energy stocks and tech stocks and the fast growers, but
doing okay from an operational company fucking managerial standpoint of view, because the way that I live is also the way that I operate these companies I'm in charge of.
Sure.
And guess who's fucking doing okay?
What's the next 20 years actually look like versus what's the next 5 to
It come to find out, not being a fucking giant money mongering piece of fucking shit.
actually is sustainable.
It's actually sustainable.
Oh my god!
Isn't that fucking amazing?
What a concept!
And I'm intelligent to the point where, fiscally, I'm a conservative person, but also swinging to where socially I swing to the opposite direction. Therefore, puts me right in the middle of the fucking road with everything, and. It's one of those situations where, no, I like this and I like what it yields.
Yeah.
And this is great and I thrive on numbers and all that. But I sit there and go, you know what? I shouldn't be the only one that's like that. Why don't we bring our community up?
Yeah.
To be the same way.
Absolutely.
And so, but not like a dependency status where everyone should depend on that. But empowering fucking people.
If you feel like taking the same risk, then you're setting yourself up for the same rewards that I feel like are potential.
And then educate and empowering your fucking community, and I find that is just a really strong position to always fucking take. And there's no amount.
Plan for the worst, hope for the best. That's what I said earlier.
You know what? You make some fucking friends having that mentality. I was telling someone the other day, Mr. Midnight Mood. Because I had a friend who's an old-time friend, and her son's getting out of prison. And her son has been in prison.
Oh, shit.
And he's 40 years old now. And her son's getting out of prison. He was 17 when he went in.
Oh, Jesus.
And he was in a getaway car for someone who went in and robbed and killed someone.
Oh, fuck.
And so he wasn't even there to witness the whole thing, but he was guilty by association.
Guilty by association,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Has he met Dennis?
Huh?
Has he met Dennis?
No, not yet. I'm not sure he's entirely aware of the internet.
He's been in the clink for a minute, man.
So my friend told me, she's like, because of all the stuff going on, they're finally going to let him come home. We don't think he should have been there. He's a kid. And plus, the charges.
So he was 17 and was tried as an adult, yeah.
But he wasn't even in the building, and so they're like, the punishment was way harsh for what he was actually involved in. And they've been fighting this throughout the years. So he's finally coming home, and I go, he'll be perfect. He'll be perfect to join my team in Apocalypse. And I meant that in actually the most respectful way ever, because from my point of view, in my position, you don't actually get anywhere listening to a certain or one perspective.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
don't sit there and listen to all the people making money. You don't sit there and listen to all the people who claim to know everything about the economy, the experts, the people who have a vested interest in what's going on, the media.
Yeah.
You literally listen to
unpopular opinion. Don't listen to just Jim Cramer.
Yeah, you listen to them. You listen to your neighbors.
For yourself.
You listen to actually. You know what survivalists, and I use this term. You're gonna be surprised, and you're not gonna be surprised. But the greatest survivalists in our fucking world are in the worst parts of our towns. They're in the ghettos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're the ones that are forced to figure out what it means to be survivalist day in and day out.
And if you go to them and you find out what's attractive, and they know what makes people tick in the worst situations, and that sounds like a terrible thing to do, but if you're listening to them from my point of view, as someone who is a higher up in a company, and you get perspective of everyone, that only leads you to success. Is listening to your community, listening to the people who make you listen to everyone that you can, and that's how you make your best.
Absolutely.
You don't make one bed out of one community. You make a bed out of
Well, you just don't let you don't let money be your guiding spirit.
Yeah. You got to aggregate as much perspective as you possibly
also,
can.
mind you, I make the people that I work for a lot of money.